Are you training with a low heart rate approach and having trouble keeping that heart rate within the proper zones? Today I'm going to explain how running with power can help you keep that heart rate under your control rather than at the will of the heart rate gods, so you can get the most out of your low heart rate runs. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Brendon, and I am a non-elite runner who's using the Maffetone training method to build my aerobic engine. And I've picked up some tips along my way, and I would love to share them with you. So if that's something you're into, consider that subscribe button right down there. It would mean a lot, and maybe even leave a like if you get some good information out of this video. Now let's get into how running with power can help you build that aerobic base. Now, running power is a relatively new term, and I wouldn't be surprised if you don't even know what I'm talking about. So here's a brief introduction. So cycling with power is a very established term. We all know that cyclists have that 2,000 watts of power within their legs. They're putting out that, and that means that they're going faster for a higher power number. Same thing is pretty true with running. The higher your power number, the faster you're probably running. That's my experience anyway. Who knows? Maybe it's slightly different. But the way that you measure power is definitely quite a bit different compared to running and cycling. With cycling, they're using true strain gauges to measure the power going through that strain gauge when they're pushing down on the pedals. For us with running power, we have these little foot pods, and there's some running watches coming out that measure the theoretical power number. Now, I'm an electrical engineer, so this is kind of grinds my gears a bit because it's not a true power number. You're not measuring the power going through your legs or through a strain gauge. They're just guessing it pretty much based off the calculations. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because I've been using this power meter for a year and a half, almost 2 years now, and the numbers are pretty accurate for myself. So I know that if I'm going at 230 watts, my heart rate should be in this certain zone. If I'm on a hill, I should be going this fast. So that's all that really matters to me, is that the numbers that I'm seeing for these power numbers are helping me get an understanding of how my training's going and how I should plan out my training. So that brings us to our next question. So if you want to run with power and you like what I'm about to explain, how do you get into it? Now, like I said, there's these foot pods. I used the Stryd power meter, and actually I looked online and it's gone up quite a bit in price. When I bought it, I think it was 199 US dollars, so it equated to like 220 Canadian. But now their most recent one is like over $300 Canadian, so it's quite expensive. But luckily for us, they're starting to come up with more and more options for running power. Coros just released a watch that has Stryd integration built right into it. And from the videos that I've watched, I haven't personally used the watch yet, but from the reviews that I've watched, the numbers on the Coros watch and the Stryd power meter are pretty darn similar. And that watch is 199 US dollars, and you get a GPS watch on top of it. So if you don't have a GPS watch and you want to get both, that's like a value deal of the century right there. So yes, you will need some way to measure running power, whether that be through a running foot pod, there's many on the market, I don't know all of them, or one of these newer watches that have integration. That's all you need. Now, I will do a more in-depth video on how to get started with running power, so if you are interested in that, subscribe. I don't know when I'll do it, probably sometime in the next couple of weeks. Now let's get into how does this even help us with low heart rate training. First of all, running with power versus running with heart rate, the differences are power numbers are pretty instantaneous, where heart rate numbers lag a bit. So if you're going uphill, you can look at your power number and you see that reflected immediately what the change in grade is doing to your power. However, looking at heart rate, it'll still be at that lower number for a little bit until your body catches up with you. So why does it matter if our heart rate's lagging? Does it really make a difference? It actually does, because what we're trying to do is keep our heart rate within a certain zone, right, for these low heart rate runs. But when we're going up these hills and our heart rate isn't being accurately reflected, we're putting our body under more stress, so our heart rate's going to spike even higher, and we're not going to know it until it's too late. However, if we're using running power, we can see that, oh God, I'm starting to go above that zone. Let's take it back a notch, and theoretically, our heart rate should be within that MAF zone. So that's kind of what I've been using for my MAF runs using power. Okay, great, Brendon. I want to use this running power so I can make sure my runs are nice and consistent. There's no spikes going on about. It's no sinusoidal wave, just my heart rate spiking and going down, spiking and going down. how do I do it? How do I get my Maffetone power number? Well, how I do it may not be the best way. If someone knows a better way, please leave it in the comments down below. But what I did in order to get an understanding of my Maff power number is I did some Maff runs only looking at my heart rate for I think I did it for 2 weeks to start off. And then I looked at the average power throughout those entire runs, making sure that my heart rate was within the Maff zone, of course. And then I looked at my power center for Stryd, and I looked at the average power for all those runs, totaled it up, did a division by however many runs I did, and I kind of estimated my Maff power number based off that. And you know what? It's been pretty accurate. Going up a hill, using that power number, making sure I'm within that zone, my heart rate doesn't really spike above my Maff zone whatsoever, and I'm able to keep my heart rate nice and consistent for my entire run. Now that I've been doing it for a little bit more, I look at the rolling 4-week average of my power numbers and get my Maff power number based off that. Because obviously as you get more fit, your power number is going to go up for a given heart rate. So you need to kind of be monitoring this. I do it on a monthly basis, but you can choose to do it however often you want. So what I do is I look at the rolling 4-week average of my power numbers and make sure that I'm staying within those zones when I'm going up a hill and even down a hill, really. It's pretty awesome because when you're going downhill, your running power will be lower than when you're going uphill or on the flats. So you can feel like you're a speed demon rolling down those hills because you get to put that power number up there. Oh yeah. Okay, now let's move on to the last section, and that is using your Maff power number, and I kind of just hinted at it. So what I use my Maff power number for is going up and down hills. I pretty much just rely on my heart rate when I'm on the flats, but when I'm going up and down hills, that's when you're gonna get the lag in heart rate. That's why I like to use the power number there. So I look at my power number when I'm going up those hills, make sure that I'm within that Maff power zone that I just calculated from that rolling 4-week average. And overall, guys, over my last, 2 months of Maff running with power, I've been able to keep my heart rate very consistent and avoid a bunch of spikes. I've been able to control my heart rate using this method, so I really hope that you're going to get some benefit out of it as well. So overall, using this method of using the Maffetone heart rate to get a Maffetone power number has allowed me to have very consistent low heart rate runs, and I personally think it's allowing me to build my aerobic base pretty well. Over the last, 4 months of Maff training now, I've been able to knock 1.5 minutes per kilometer off of my Maff runs, which is pretty insane. I think when I started, I was over 7 minutes per kilometer. We all know that feeling when we're out there just pretty much walking at the start of Maffetone training. It's kind of demoralizing. However, now, after 4 months of doing it, I'm able to maintain, I could probably do this a little bit faster because I don't actually run at my Maff heart rate. I run probably about 10 beats below it. But I run 5-minute 45-second per kilometer for the same heart rate that I was running 4 months ago at 7 minutes per kilometer. Using this method, I've been able to not have huge spikes, which allows my body to not go into that anaerobic zone. You're staying within the aerobic zone, building the aerobic base. Now, I'm going to preface this with I'm not training for any type of races right now, so I don't need that top end anaerobic speed. But you know what? I'm going to do another video pretty shortly explaining how I'm going to transition out of pure Maff into an 80-20 routine because, guys, I'm getting the need for speed. I can tell you that much. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you got some good information out of this. If you're gonna start running with power, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear if I've convinced you or you already have been. Just let me know how it's going for you. Now, I'm gonna throw it back to a video I did on my last Maffetone training update. It's been over a month now, I guess, but I'll put that right over here. And you know what? I'm gonna talk about the Brooks Hyperion Elite 2 right in this video right over here. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, do all the normal stuff. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I will see you on the next one. Have a great day.